all started now. This day's a turning point in my life. The day I begin living my life from the inside out.
Hi everyone, my name is Mirkovich, your host for Family Today. This show is for everyone. It's for parents, grandparents, and young adults. It includes art, culture, entertainment, and spirituality. How many of you would like to know what a sacred contract is and how to develop your intuitive powers? And also, we would like to know how to connect with your angel guides. And here is once again, Miss Berta Rodriguez, who is going to touch on these matters. Welcome, Berta. Welcome once again. Thank you for coming again.
Thank you so much, Maria. Thank you for having me.
Welcome to families.
Yes, absolutely.
And so, Berta, last time we touched on Reiki healing and the energy work, some of the energy work. Mm-hmm. What are the intuitive powers that everyone has, mm-hmm. but I don't know, some people develop it more than others. Mm-hmm. How would you expand that?
Yes, everybody has intuitive powers and
abilities.
And abilities, yes. Right. And it's just, first, basically, you have to have a belief that there is non-physical and spiritual. Because if you don't have that belief, it's okay, but then you're not going to experience it. You have to have the belief in order for those energies to come through.
So, excuse me, mm-hmm. So you have to believe that there is a spiritual world out there,
right? Because they don't force themselves
within
on
us.
You. Yes,
within us. As people say, the heaven is within us. Mm-hmm. Is yes. That true? Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Excuse me.
No,
go ahead.
Absolutely. You're completely right. I agree. The spirituality is within us. A lot of times we're thinking of it
it's
outside of us.
Yes.
But sometimes it feels that way because when you experience the energy, mm-hmm. it feels like it's coming through from the outside, but it's also coming through from the inside. Mm-hmm. So yes, you have to have a belief in it in order for you to experience it. Mm-hmm. And then a lot of times if you meditate, you start experiencing that. You get quiet. When you get quiet, you're more able to experience it.
I often hear this from yoga teachers, mm-hmm. People that meditate a lot. I do believe that. I meditate myself. I need to, though. These days, I need to. Why is it that we develop more spiritual powers when we do meditate? I know it's quieting our mind. Mm-hmm. And as Eckhart Tolle, I don't know if you're familiar
yes.
with the book. Mm-hmm. Eckhart Tolle, he talks to us about, being still and being in the present moment. Now, do you think that that's a little hard for the humans out there, all of us, to, in this modern world that yes. we experience, mm-hmm. that it's a little bit hard to be in presence mm-hmm. and on automatic thinking?
Right. I think it is very difficult because a lot of people don't even know what that means,
okay.
to be in the present moment.
Yes.
And even when they try, they lose the focus and mm-hmm. they get distracted, but that's okay because practice mm-hmm. actually, the ability becomes stronger as you practice. Mm-hmm. So it is difficult, but it's because of the way we view the world. We mm-hmm. think that we're supposed to be focusing on the external and conditions on the external.
We are conditioned to think that.
Yes, and
on the external.
That's not
yes.
really truth, at least from my perspective.
So to reprogram your mind, mm-hmm. Because from little babies, we were programmed to think out there, not inwardly. But now exactly. the kids are different. The little ones are different. Mm-hmm. I think they are... I don't know. I don't want to go into the children now because we are.
I love that. If
yeah,
you want to go
me too. Yeah. But I do want to focus on the sacred contracts and also to build your intuitive powers and also to connect with your angelic realm or angels. Mm-hmm. Even as I'm saying it, I don't know. I do believe, but I'm not a firm believer. Like I know it here, but I don't know it always here. Mm-hmm. Not always.
Right.
Okay. So go ahead. I'm sorry that I interrupted you.
No, absolutely. For me, it's there's no longer any doubt.
Okay.
And there was a time I couldn't say that, but
okay.
for me, it's just a knowing without a doubt that there is many non-physical realms, mm-hmm. and one of them is the angelic realm.
Right? Okay. So, are the angels around us now?
Mm-hmm. And the angels are the ones that have the ability to cross many realms very easily, more so than any other beings.
Because they're not dense.
Yes.
They're made of light.
Exactly.
They're
Right.
made of light. And as humans are growing into the spirituality, we are getting more and more light.
Exactly.
Is that true? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Our bodies are actually are being able to tolerate more light.
Light. Okay.
Yes. So absolutely.
Okay. So about the sacred contract, I did mention it in our intro. Do we have sacred contracts
believe so.
that we sign up for? This, I know you don't like to think of lessons, but I will speak it that way because
Yes, sure.
how I identify with that is through sacred lessons. Sacred contracts mean that your soul, and correct me if I'm wrong, your soul made a contract to go through some, I don't know, grave things or difficulties, what we perceive to be difficulties. Maybe they're not, but this is our human
Right.
bodies and form that we think they're difficulties. You know, we perceive them as that. So we do have, like, before we are born and incarnate in this world, we do say, I'm going to come and do this and this and this lesson, or this and this grievance, but I'm going to sign up for it. That's like a warrior.
Right.
We are warriors.
Absolutely.
We are warriors of light.
Definitely, definitely. It takes a lot of strength and courage to be on this plane. So
It does.
So
and,
yes.
and let me just ask you something, not to deter you from this, hold that thought. A lot of families do disassociate from you when you get on this path. I hear a lot of teachers, spiritual teachers, that they very much do so. And then you could go through a lot of grieving. And does that distract you from your path?
Yeah, it can.
It can?
It depends. It could be also something you're working through, right? To love yourself enough unconditionally that you're going to pursue what's right for you, what's calling you, even if your family members are not approving of it. From my experience, my family, it's not that they don't approve of it, but they're certainly not experiencing the things that I'm
The same
experiencing.
thing.
But it's not that they don't have a belief in it. They do. It's
They
just,
do.
it's more like I provide a lot of information sometimes because they're
Yes.
not experiencing it themselves.
You're their teacher.
Kind of, yes.
You're their guide, guiding them
Yes.
to the light.
Guide in another way.
So again, I think I asked you this in the first time that we had the interview. You shouldn't be controlling your family to come to you. I don't know, Oprah said it once, if your relatives and families do not associate with you, just wait, pray, and see if they come to their senses, to come back to their family, because families are important. They are important. We need to be integrated together. We need to support each other on all the occasions, not only holidays, but people die, people get sick, people get into the how would I say, difficulties, and we need to support. Who else is going to support you if not your own family? But unfortunately, there are people out there, their families, their sons, daughters, mothers, fathers, disassociate from them. And that creates a lot of grief and pain for that particular person. They isolate them. So what does one do to do that? To heal it, I mean, excuse me.
Right. No, absolutely. I completely agree with you. I think family is so important. But what's more important is that if they're hindering you, that you still follow your own path. Because it's true, just like Oprah said, eventually they may actually come and join you or connect with you
when
later.
they come to their senses.
Right. And they
Please
may
come
not.
to their senses.
They may not either. But either way, it's not beneficial for you to not follow your own path, because it actually will cause many difficulties in your life if you do that, especially if you become very sensitive. What happens is it's painful.
It's painful.
Yeah, to not
So
do
could
that.
that be one of the sacred contract? One person, like let's say a mother undergoes to lose, for instance, a son, not through death, but through them just disassociating themselves from you, because of their whatever belief system is, or not to honor them, but why do they just go?
That's
That is a very difficult situation to undertake. I myself went through that. I just wanted to say that. It's very difficult for me to go through it. But then on the other hand, as Berta points out, if you truly love your son, daughter, whoever is in your heart, so you have that remembrance of the heart, and that's where you connect. Do you connect or not? Let's say the other person has the wall. Do you connect or not?
I'm sorry.
Like, let's say you want to send them a thought of love, and the other person has a wall. They don't receive it.
They receive it. They're not aware of it. There's a
Okay.
difference. So it's like, it's not that it's not happening. It's just they're not, they're not in that frequency
Okay.
to receive it. But it's not that it hasn't been done. When you
Okay.
send it, it's done.
It's done. Yes, 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 yes.
And I agree with you. It's a very difficult topic because a lot of people get triggered when they wonder, well, if I lost my son or I lost my daughter or somebody very loved, that they love very much, they don't want to believe that they chose that to experience in order to
So that
grow
is
in a certain direction.
So that is in the sacred contract.
I believe so.
I kind of chose that.
Right. Before
Before
you are
to
born.
experience that grief and that tolerance, and I think it's a form of discipline because anybody could be, I don't know, tempted to call and call again, and just not to do it is like, oh my God, I'm experiencing anxiety, panic attacks, but then you have to discipline that, just like with everything else.
Right.
Okay, so I think we covered something of the sacred contract that we could be going through a lot of grieving, what we perceive as grief, because we signed up for it. Now, to build your intuitive powers is to...
So basically, to build your intuitive powers, first of all, we all have intuition, but it's about connecting to it. A lot of times, if you're meditating, you'll experience it more easily. But intuition, you can experience even if you're writing. The way I mostly explain it is that we have a higher self and we have an ego self.
Yes.
And if we're in our ego self, we're not really catching our intuition. If we are letting go and understanding that our brain is a receiver, not that we're creating with our brain is receiving from consciousness. Right? So our higher
Universal
self.
mind.
Yes.
Universal mind.
Right.
Okay, so that's the universal mind if we are quiet enough to receive it. But an automatic thinking is the ego.
Yes,
That's the
usually.
learned self. My mom said, I don't know, what would you say? Like an automatic reaction. Oh my God, what happened? You know, that's all automatic from what you pick up from
Program
childhood,
thinking,
program thinking, and that's not really who you are. That's the ego mind.
Right.
That's the ego mind. When you become authentic, you start questioning things more.
Right.
Like, is this really, why am I saying this? Do I believe in this? What's up with this? Right? So it's interesting how and you know what? A lot of us came to this path because sometimes, at least for me, I could say, Berta, that, there was painful instances that brought me to this path. But sometimes pain breaks you or makes you.
Right.
They say that, right?
Yes.
So I think I'm on the right path. Not always easy,
Right.
not always easy, but I am trying to go ahead. But next we were going to talk about the angels, how to connect with them. But first we're going to be right back. Thank you.
It all started now.
Hi, we're back with Berta Rodriguez, and now we are going to be talking about how to connect with your angels, the angel realms. And Berta, please share.
Okay. So basically, I definitely connect with the archangels.
The archangels.
Yes, I love to connect with
Okay.
Archangel
So
Michael.
who are, the archangels are Michael,
Raphael, Chamiel, Jophiel, Raziel. There's many archangels, but there's 7 primary ones.
Okay.
And Gabriel, definitely important. And Uriel.
Gabriel is the announcer.
Yes. Gabriel's very important. So I talk with them, and a lot of times I receive kind of like, what I would say is like
Messages?
messages, not always auditorily.
Okay.
Sometimes I do,
But
it's, yeah.
but you do, not you particularly, or I, somebody else could be auditory.
Oh,
They could
yes.
hear the angels in an auditory
And
way.
clairvoyant, they might.
Clairvoyance
Yeah.
is, what is clairvoyance?
They can see things, right?
You could see
Yeah,
things
through their
clearly.
mind's eye, but they can see it. It's almost
They
like a
could
videotape.
also see
yeah.
angels.
Mhm.
And there's another word,
Clairsentient,
clairsentient. I think you, not auditory.
not auditory. Okay.
Clairsentient is
So you feel,
the feeling,
and that's what I experience. now.
feeling.
I'm very kinesthetic, so I feel a lot.
kinesthetic.
Yeah.
Yes. So people do experience these things, and maybe they're not even aware of it,
Right.
or they're not conscious of it.
Exactly, and sometimes they send us messages through numbers, right? Like
Wow,
a combination of numbers, like
okay.
1, 2, 3, or 444 is known as the angel number. The
444 as an angel number.
Yes.
Okay.
So, yeah. So I tend to. A lot of people are waking up and seeing 444 on their clock, and it's
Clock.
not time to get up yet, but they're
Okay.
getting up every day at that hour, or 333. So I've been experiencing that more and more as well, and it's them kind of letting you know that they're there, and that they're telling you things are okay. And they're letting you know that synchronicity happens, so that if you believe that things are going to go your way, you will see signs of it along your day.
Okay.
So, including numbers, that
Okay.
it's kind of saying, I'm
I want
supporting
to
you.
share this with you because as you're speaking, I think you're bringing out all these things, what I shut down already, there was like about 6 months ago, I would say, if not more than that, a dear friend of mine got very sick. And I'm not going to mention the names because I don't have her approval, but this came to mind as we were talking. And in the morning, as I woke up, I was fully awakened. I know when I'm awakened fully, I put my slippers on. And just before that, I heard my name called. And I'm like, oh, it's not an illusion. I knew it was an illusion. You know how sometimes you second guess yourself?
Right.
This time I was very peaceful that it truly was.
Right.
And it didn't matter who believed me, who didn't. And it said, Maria, Maria. And the third time, Maria. Very gentle, very loving. I wasn't afraid.
Right.
Normally I would go, who's that? This time I really felt it and I said, wow, who is it? Could it be my friend needing my help? Because I knew she was very ill and she still is. And I didn't question it anymore, but I know the experience. It was just like it was now. It was about 6 months ago, and I said, somebody said that if there's an angel person, her name is Doreen Virtue, and she says in her book, I then after that I took her book out, and it says, you're definitely experiencing angels if you, one of the aspect is if you hear your calling of your name, but you're peaceful, you're not afraid, and it's not it's not dangerous or anything like that.
Right.
You don't feel it.
Right.
It's right when and I go, oh my God. So people.
Absolutely. And your ego is not involved too when you're
That
peaceful
ego.
like that. Yeah.
The ego is not involved. Okay. So I always remember this instance. But there were other instances that I just shrugged off. But this one was very clear to me.
Right.
But go ahead. And there's that way to experience angels.
Right. So basically, anything that I'm trying to connect with, whether it's my intuition or angels, I a lot of times do through meditation or just getting quiet. That's what works for me. So
Just being quiet.
just being quiet and letting go and almost like relaxing. If you can almost visualize relaxing your brain.
Oh,
like
okay.
getting because that's how you get your ego out of the way.
Yes, definitely. Of course. There's a lot of, these are angels, but what would you say like our forefathers, inventors, such as Nikola Tesla? I believe these fathers of ours did us great service, and I believe in some way that there are angels. Would you say that or not?
Oh yeah, they're definitely. Nikola Tesla was beyond his time. So
He was a Serbian, Croatian.
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
I recently blogged. I wrote a blog, and I mentioned a quote of his in my blog because I was trying to talk about how spirituality and science are merging because people are having all sorts of non-physical experiences.
Okay.
And so his quote was about, when science begins to study the non-physical, we're going to advance at an accelerated rate.
Nicholas Tesla said that, say that again,
That
on the camera.
that when science begins to study the non-physical, that our science is going to accelerate at an increased rate versus, how kind of gradual it's been, because we haven't really been studying the non-physicals.
So at an early age, he was already spiritual. I know that Nikola Tesla, his father wanted him to become a priest.
Yes,
His
I
father was
remember
a
reading
priest,
that,
not a
yes.
Catholic priest, but I forgot which denomination, but it was Christian, and he just didn't want to be a priest. He studied for it. He did study the different books and texts to become a priest, and then his father, I think, sent him to the best schools known for. Look at what we have: light, light, and not frequency.
He
Yes.
studied a lot of things.
Currency.
Around
Currency
currency,
of light.
electricity.
Yes. Many moons ago. And how did he do that? I'm so, I don't know, in awe about this amazing man. I would think that Nikola Tesla also said energy, vibrations, and frequency is the way to discover the universal secrets. So having that in mind,
Yes.
I mean, we could work with our energy. Well, to build up our energy, we need to take care of our bodies.
Right.
Bodies.
Yes, absolutely.
And then vibrations, how do we do that?
Well-
to vibrate in a good way. To put good thoughts in our minds and hearts.
Right. It's all kind of it all kind of goes together. So when you're working on your body and you're like maybe eating very healthy food and eating lighter food, not like dense food, your body is lighter and you're able to vibrate and connect to higher frequencies.
Okay, so when you vibrate better, what if you're grieving? You don't vibrate. You have lower energy vibration.
Right. If you're grieving to release the chemicals, meaning it's temporary.
Oh, it
it's
is temporary,
grief.
okay.
That's healthy because you're literally releasing chemicals out of your body. But if you're in chronic grief, which and you're depressed,
okay.
you're not vibrating on a high frequency. No.
Okay. So what would you say to those people that are very, I come in touch with these people. I am a life coach, and they're very depressed. They have to change their mind. They definitely have to be disciplined to change their mind and heart. So that, but sometimes it's easier said than done.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Connecting
so what would
to
you say to these people? What can they do to make themselves feel better? To connect with what?
Right.
Nature?
Yeah, nature is an easy way to kind of, it's an easier way to see beauty and to see the light of the world. But it's also within us. It's just sometimes more difficult to connect to it through our bodies. But connect with your heart. And sometimes that's painful, but instead of staying in the pain, releasing the pain. Almost like thinking of it as like energy being released from your body, but literally thinking of your physical heart.
Now this is your website, isn't it?
Right.
The heart.
Yes, it's heartmight.com, like heart, HEART, MIGHT.com. And I just wanted to also mention that I have a workbook that I did with 33 exercises, and 33, I did 33 particularly because it's a very special number, and it's about connecting to the spiritual realm. So if you mention Family Today and you email me, I can email this to you for free. And there are 33 wonderful exercises that help you get in touch with yourself and your belief system.
Oh, great. And your belief system. That's how you change your
Right.
reality.
Exactly, yes.
You change your reality, and it becomes different. Your focus becomes different. Everything becomes different. And also we develop spirituality through that, or not?
No, yes.
Yes, everything grows.
Everything grows.
Everything
and
grows.
your vibration definitely increases, right, at
Okay.
a higher frequency.
So let's go back to the angels, and you said that the archangels, and I guess your favorite is
Archangel Michael,
Michael.
because he's kind of like, even I think, I believe.
warrior.
Yes, he's
A
a
warrior
warrior,
of
and
light.
he's kind of the leader of the archangels.
yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Yes.
And the Gabriel, because he's
Yes.
the announcer.
Yes.
And then there are other angels.
Raphael
maybe
is the
Raphael
healer.
Is the healer.
Yeah.
So when you are not feeling good, you pray to Raphael for healing, and imagine green light. Am I right?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yes. Green light, and just bathe yourself in a green light. Is that true?
Yes, emerald green in
Emerald
particular.
And what about those people that do want to connect with angels and they don't know how to do it? What is the first step?
The first step is getting quiet. And
Okay,
really,
again.
I know I'm repeating that a few times, but it's just
okay.
getting quiet and getting out of your ego. And allowing, in other words, letting your higher self give you the information. And sometimes what happens is you don't connect with the actual angel. The higher self translates what the angel is saying so that you can actually understand it. Yeah.
Yes. Now, explain a little bit more about the ego, because it's very easy to lose it.
Yes.
Even those people that are aware of ego, in everyday world, we just lose it. And the ego takes over.
Right.
And it's a monster. It creates addictions. It creates all kinds of bad frequencies.
Right. Right. The ego is doing its job, but usually it's not sending us on a positive path because we put too much stress on it. Because we think it's basically, the ego is the personality. It's our physical personality, and the higher mind, the higher self, is really what can take us to the next level. But when we try to put it on the ego gets resentful, and that's why it becomes obsessive and compulsive.
He's like a bully.
Yeah.
What?
Yes.
You're going to tell me the truth?
Yes.
Because he's a liar.
Right.
He's a prince of lies. Ego is the prince of lies. And but sometimes, even when I talk to my family, especially my mom, and if I say ego, she will say, "What the hell is that?" What is that? So a lot of people identify with their ego as who they are.
Right.
But we're not that. We're definitely
spirit.
not that. So again, be quiet, be more still, pay attention to your inner world, which is your heart, and truly listen to your feelings. The third would be
Breath. Your
Breath.
breath. Connecting to your breath.
in and out. Yes. And is there anything else that we could send out?
And I think those are the
Those-
primary ones.
How about
yeah.
prayer?
Oh,
Prayer?
yeah, absolutely.
Prayer and meditation.
Prayer and meditation, yes.
Okay, meditation is listening to God and the angels, and praying is grace.
Right. Well, for some people, praying is religious, right? And
Yes.
I'm not religious, but I certainly respect everybody's religion. So in spirituality, we usually say meditate, but we could say prayer. It's just not necessarily in a religious sense. It's on an energy principle sense.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
for coming
Maria.
to the show. Oh my God, I'm so happy
Appreciate
that I
it.
connected with you.
Thank
And
you.
Thank you, dear viewers, for joining
Thank
us. Next, we will have a wonderful show for you and your families to enjoy. Until then, goodbye for now. I'm Maria Mirkovich. Goodbye.
It all started now. Till I figure which way to go. Saw the light. Took the path of least resistance. Printed by my own. Accept the truth about